Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have Rafael Estevam taking on Hey Jesus.
Can you dig it? Sucker!
Okay. Rafael Estevam, high-pressure grappler. He'll throw bombs when he closes the distance. Oh, let me back up. He's undefeated in his career. He is coming off that successful UFC debut. Jesus Aguilar, 11-2 in his career, and he's coming off another ridiculous guillotine and a 3-fight win streak. Rafael Estevam, high-pressure grappler. He's going to absolutely bomb away, close the distance. He has no issues marching forward with those heavy strikes, then looking for a takedown. Takedowns are actually a little bit sloppy considering how good of a wrestler he is, and he'll use trips or drags, but he's relentless with them. He'll continue to work to get you to the ground. Once you are down, he does a really good job just softening you up and then working for a submission. He's got back control, dangerous grappler. I mentioned successful UFC debut was against Charles Johnson, who, as we all know, is very good. He had 3 takedowns and 9 minutes of control. He's taking on Jesus Aguilar. Solid grappler. He has a knack for finding the guillotine. He has 11 wins in his career. 8 of those wins are stoppages, and 5 of those wins are by guillotine. And they're not just like desperate, please don't take me down guillotines. He sets them up. He stuffs the head. He squeezes his skinny little arms in there and makes it happen. He can strike as well, good combinations. The power seems okay. He can be a bit wild. He's very active, very fun to watch. He's coming off another guillotine win. This time was over Stuart Nickel. And essentially, Stuart Nickel was getting tagged up, so then he took a bad shot and got choked. A few weeks ago at UFC Saudi Arabia, we saw another guillotine expert in Said Nurmagomedov, and he lost. I think we see another guillotine expert take a loss here.
Have you ever smoked a black and mild?
No. I'm not a drug user. This matchup's a little different, though, because I think Estevam is going to grapple like crazy, which will only set up the guillotine, but he should be good enough. His chin should be, Estevam should be well-versed enough to not get choked. So we'll see what happens. What do you think?
You're like one of those Minecraft village people.
Because I don't smoke weed.
Oh, I'm such a square. Because you don't smoke what?
The weed?
Black and mild is just it's tobacco. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, but everybody just rips the guts out and puts the weed in it.
We're talking about smoking an actual black and mild. Honestly, they gave me headaches. I was a Swisher guy, but everyone smoked a fucking black and mild.
I have smoked cigars, if that's the question, yes. Okay, can you tell us who's going to win this fight?
Yeah, honestly, Rafael probably, I know he's going to wrestle, but if I was him, I wouldn't wrestle until you really felt like you needed it, because Jesus, I know he fucking knocked out Shannon Ross cold, but he's not really a threat with the striking. He will just kind of bomb those big shots to try to get to his own takedowns, and maybe you just wait for him to shoot the takedowns and then just kind of out-scramble him with your size in those situations. What that eliminates...
I'm shaking my head at the comments, not you.
I know, what is it? Go ahead.
Dude, like I'm the idiot. Who does that with a black and mild? That's crazy. Wrong. It's like, all right, guys, I said I don't smoke. Now I'm not the cool kid because I don't know all the weed stuff. Nerds. I guess you would call me a nerd in this situation, but I'm not a nerd. I'm a square. Very different things.
But if you wait for him to take this shot and you just kind of work off scrambles in that situation, it does 2 things, right? You can not get tired from trying to shoot and all this type of whatever, and it eliminates the guillotine, right? Because that's what you're really worried about in this fight, because Jesus, as you mentioned, has those short, little stubby arms that when he locks in the guillotine, there's no fucking room, right? If you have long arms, some people, I know this guy's got fucking jujitsu fucking tattooed across his goddamn chest, but even with that tattoo, if you get a Jesus Aguilar fucking guillotine, you're probably not going to get out. That is how tight he fucking locks those things up. So if you just kind of wait, when the striking exchanges, force him to grapple, you can either defend, keep striking if that's where you're comfortable at, or you can work off a scramble there, because you know he can scramble, right? Because Charles was making it work in a lot of scrambling situations, and he was floating floating with Charles pretty well. Even though he started getting gas, he did get gas at third round, but he was able to toughen out to get that decision. So Rafael should have the wrestling advantage, should have the striking advantage, unless there's one of those Hail Mary guillotines, or maybe he rolls through for some weird knee bar or something. This should be a Rafael play all the way. I have to assume that he's cleaned up a cardio a little bit. We don't know. It's been a year and a half since he's fought, but a lot of times those are kind of wake-up calls for people, right? You think you're going to dominate everybody, and when you don't, you see what happens. He was able to work through it, and we'll see, but I'm playing Rafael.
Yeah, I'm all over him as well. I'm all over him as well, and the Prize Picks and Underdog plays are already up.
He kind of has the eyes of Jesus.
I mean, he's telling me to do the right thing. That's why I won't admit to smoking weed in front of the guy.
They're fierce yet forgiving, like, if that makes any sense. I'm looking at Jesus Aguilar, and his eyes tell me he means business, and he's going to lay down the law. But guess what? If you just own up to it, there's going to be some forgiveness there, right?
There could be. I just have to go into the booth, tell the priest what's up. Confession's funny because you grow up in your own little world. You assume everybody does that. And now I'm in this world, and nobody hears Catholic. And I was like, you guys have confession? They're like, what? What's confession? I was like, you go to the booth.
How did this turn into a...
Because he said he's forgiving, and that's what confession is. Here's all the sins. Sorry, Father, for I have sinned. Here's all the horrible things I did. Then you get, all right, go give me 6 Hail Marys and an Our Father. And you're clean slate. So he has those eyes. 93
is a nerd and a virgin.
I have kids.
It doesn't mean anything these days.
Of course it does. And they kind of look like me. They look like me enough that you know they're mine, but not enough that they're still very pretty kids.
I'll be honest. At this point, I was hoping that they would maybe look more like you, but I would start asking questions.
I mean, they're pretty, so I don't want it to swing too far to one side, because then they won't be pretty anymore.
Who's the best looking neighbor?
Well, the kids are older now. Bo, probably giant fucking Bo.
Well, and he was...
No, they're old. Kids are older. Anyway, $9,300 in... Oh, where I was going before you disrupted me, the takedown line on Rafael Estevam, if your sportsbook does takedown lines, and keep the app open on Friday for when those lines drop to make sure you get a push notification.
I killed it last week. I got all of them.
They were all good. You got every single one. And I grabbed a bunch too, based off your...
What was it? It was Prado over a half, Dricus under 4. There was another one over a half. I don't think I hit the other one, though. I
did it. It was Alexandre Taporia. I placed it.
Oh, yeah, over a half. He fucking just picked it. He just fucking belly to back suplexed him.
He suplexed.
Yeah,
I was like, there's the bet.
Belly to back suplex. Whoa! I was like, that's a fucking takedown.
Oh, it was awesome. And that was the only takedown he took. Wei Lee. Yeah. I did Wei Lee over a half, too, and she got 1 and 1 only. So, yeah, the takedown props last week were crazy.
Those are just considered reversals, I guess.
Yeah, I was hoping they would score, but they didn't. Anyway, where I'm going with this is it's a perfect combination of Rafael likes to wrestle and Jesus wants that guillotine, so I imagine he accepts the takedowns a lot. So I bet we get a lot of takedowns in this fight.
Yeah, Jesus is a guy that kind of
he loves it.
He's not going to defend a takedown, because off his back he will kind of work off a single off his back. His body's like so fucking compact that even off his back he literally just will reach down, grab your leg, and then kind of work off to a single to try and get his own single. And even if he gets a single, sometimes he'll kind of pull guard in a weird situation as well. So
yeah, so I'm like lazy. Friday I'm refreshing the site constantly for that bet. I'm gonna hit it and I'll give everybody notification. I mean, if it's at 4, forget it. If it's 2.5 or 2 or something crazy like that, I'm the over. Because Jesus is durable too. So I mean, we should get a whole bunch of takedowns out of this fight.
You know what the cops said when they pulled me, or what I told the cops?
Jacob's been pulled over about 16 times in the last 2 months. It's nuts.
You know what they told him?
What?
They said, you got the wrong Jew.
Jesus Christ. Is that a wrong Jew reference? $9.
Anik told that on the weigh-in show. It was pretty funny.
Oh, that's right. I did hear him say that. Dude, also on the weigh-in show, you saw the whole rematches to look forward to in 2025, and somebody on...
You know what happened on that? I guarantee was when they were... Because he was looking at his emails. So I bet that person wrote that to DC like me would be writing a joke to you, like just to be funny, in this email that also had like his other answers.
Yeah.
He just
no,
added
he
to
was
be
looking
funny.
at the card.
No, he was looking at his
card.
phone. No, he was looking at his phone, and I guarantee it was in the email because he even said something about the email. And I bet it was like a friend-to-friend thing. But DC thought it would still be funny to say on the air, like in that moment, he saw it and was like, "Oh, this is kind of funny," and he wasn't going to call his boy out. But I guarantee that's what it was. Was like his boy wrote an extra thing, and he, like somebody, his friend in the production team or whatever, that he was not supposed to read, but he thought it'd be funny, and he read it.
It was funny. Shit. Like that's a hilarious. It was funny, dark but funny. $1.99 from Hilario Saldana. Best show ever. Jesus Aguilar with the Gilly. I hope not. Thank you for the $2 super chat. $2 from Tony Begley. Do y'all smoke? I smoke all day, every day. Love it. I do not. Jacob, your turn to answer the question.
Smoke what? There's a lot of things you can smoke.
The weed. He likes the juice. Chin Cheek MMA. Seeing you have to explain everything to your real world friends during the fights is tough. Most regular people are so far out of our realm. This is coming from the Fight Foods vlog. I ended up watching the fights with my buddy Brian, who does watch fights. He would not ask a ton of questions. And then Kobe. Kobe doesn't really watch fights, so he had genuine questions. But yeah, anytime like when it's me, Jacob, Bo, Casey, we're not explaining shit. Like every now and then we'll explain our opinion on a fight, but we're not like the rules or any of that stuff.
The best is when you're trying to watch the fights and there's like other people in the room. Like there's like 6 people over there, but then there's like one guy that's just sitting next to you and he's like whispering to you about the fights, but you're trying to like include yourself into the other side of the room. But this guy won't stop fucking like whispering in your ear about like, oh.
I just explained that to some people the other day. We went out and they're like, why don't you have so-and-so come watch the fights? And I was like, no, not that person. And they're like, why? I was like, because all he's going to do, and we're not talking about the same person right now. I was like, all this guy's going to do is say like, oh, this is gay. They're gay. Men sweaty. It's like, I don't want that. That's not an enjoyable experience. I don't want that. Like, no, don't come over. And then I started telling other stories about other people. $2 super chat from Tony again. Y'all must be squares. Okay. Thank you for the $2. That's almost enough to buy some weed. And this comment.
Fucking stepped on shit.
Rob Bixley. If Ange smoked weed, that candy closet would have to be expanded. I mean, that is the problem. The few times that I dabbled, I ate